Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Distributed Agile Association. My name is Pratika, and today's video is about how to make stand-ups and daily scrums work for a distributed agile team. Before we talk about that, I just wanted to quickly talk about stand-ups and why they're important. And you've probably read something about this already, and you probably already know about it, but I just want to give you one reason. And that is that the stand-ups as a sprint planning, look at stand-ups as a mini sprint planning for a sprint that is your day. So just like you need a sprint planning and kickoff meetings at the beginning of your sprint, you need a stand-up to kick off your day and just generally speak about what's going on and opportunities that people have for the day, and just to reflect on whatever is happening in the team. There's some teams that I've worked on do stand-ups at the end of the day or at the middle of the day or sometimes even every 2 days, and that's fine if that's something that works for your team. But my suggestion would be to have a stand-up every single day, and not just a stand-up that you do on email or something like that, but actual stand-up either in a virtual room or in a physical room if possible. Through trial and work out what works best for you, but still stand-ups are kind of non-negotiable. I will link some more info for you guys down below to get more information on that. So what should be discussed in a stand-up? To me, a stand-up should be time boxed to about 10 to 15 minutes depending on how big the team is. But basically you speak about your accomplishments, what you're signing up for going forward, and any blockers that you need help with. Also anything else that might affect the whole group. So if you're going on leave for 2 weeks or going to be on a training session for most of the day, let your team know. If you're editing a database, if you're refreshing something, if the staging environment is going to go down, let your team know. But other than that, everything else can be discussed in smaller groups. For distributed teams, especially if you see this thing gets too monotonous, and that's why I would suggest changing up the questions a little bit. So whoever is facilitating the stand-up, whether it is a scrum master or anybody else, can try and ask these questions here. So is anyone stuck? Does anyone need assistance? What is your immediate goal? Do you have everything you need to accomplish for your goal? And anything else that might affect the whole group. And these kind of questions really help streamline the stand-up process and make it less monotonous than people just rattling out status on a video conference. Now, stand-up timings can be tricky for distributed teams, especially when people are not in the same time zone. For those teams, I would recommend some tools that you can use to make sure that the time zone works for everyone. I'll link a couple of them down below, but basically you can choose a time zone that works for everyone. Make sure you come up with a time that is fair for everyone. If that is not an option in the case of, say, if the team is based in US and Asia, where there's a huge time zone difference, someone's going to be on an early morning call or a late night call. So in that case, you just rotate the stand-up times. So 1 week, one team does a late night call, and then the other week, the other team does so. But if you're doing it right, the stand-up is anyways 10 minutes long, so no one's really worried too much about weird timings, in my experience. But figure out what works, guys. There are some tools you can use for doing your stand-ups asynchronously if doing it synchronously together in a video conference is not an option. And here are those tools. So if you use Slack for collaboration, which I recommend that you do if you have a distributed agile team, and there are a couple of tools that are available. Some of them are called Standuply, Geekpod, Gel, Tatsu, and these are basically like automated bots that sort of prompt the entire team to give their stand-ups, the stand-up updates at a particular predefined time for that time zone. So you can select 9 a.m. for everyone. The bot will actually ping them and say, hey, how's it going? What's going on with your team? You can actually configure those questions as well, and it actually spits out really great reports. So you can actually, if for example, you've missed a stand-up or you've been away from the team for 2 days, you can actually see what the team was up to on, say, Wednesday of last week. So it works really well. Another option that I would highly recommend, it's something that I use for a team that I'm currently working with, people in 4 different time zones. It's called Coco, and it's basically a web app as well as a desktop app, and it looks like a virtual office and it works brilliantly. So you literally enter an office and it has a foyer, and then it has a conference room where you can actually get together at a predefined time and have a stand-up. So it actually works like a physical space, and you would kind of forget after a period of time that you're not physically located in the same room. So I would highly recommend you check out Coco. It's just a really great tool for distributed agile teams. There is a web standup.com as well. I've used that in the past. It works pretty well as well, so you can try that out. And then of course you can use other tools like Jira, Google Docs, Google Hangouts, Skype, Zoom, etc. for your regular stand-ups. One of the things that worked well for one of the teams that I worked with was putting in their stand-up updates in Confluence. So they wouldn't have a stand-up every single day, but they would have it, say, 2 or 3 times a week, and put in updates in Confluence. So not my favorite choice. My favorite choice would be everybody gets together at a predefined time. But if that's not a possibility for whatever reason, then try out these options as well. Some other tips are try to make sure everyone's standing, and it might sound weird, but it really does help, just because if people are standing, they tend to be uncomfortable and keep their updates to a minimum, and they don't have like long drawn out conversations. So even if it's a distributed team, just request everyone to stand up and do the stand up. Try wikis and collaboration tools that I mentioned. Jira has Confluence, and there are many others out there. So try to do that, and don't not do it. It's really easy in distributed team for people to say, hey, we don't really need a stand-up, we'll just send you updates through email or any other, on Slack and things like that. And I would say that is an exception, but try to make sure that at least for 10 minutes a day, everybody gets together and behaves as a team and sort of has this update to sort of gather everyone around. So try as much as possible to make it happen for your distributed team. I hope you found this talk helpful. If you're looking for any other information on how to make Agile work for distributed teams, feel free to get in touch with me. I'll link my contact info in the description box below. Have a good time. Thank you. Bye.